KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
AP News, I'm Tim McGuire. President-elect Joe Biden says the $900 billion coronavirus relief package passed by Congress yesterday is just a start.
Congress did its job this week. I can and I must ask them to do it again next year.
Biden notes that more money is needed for vaccine distribution as well as a variety of relief programs. The coronavirus pandemic could play a huge role in the largest number of people dying in a single year in this country. AP's Jennifer King has more.
Preliminary numbers from the CDC suggest the U.S. is on track to see more than 3.2 million deaths this year. That's 400,000 more than in 2019.
Our darkest days in the battle against COVID are ahead of us, not behind us.
Speaking in Delaware, President-elect Joe Biden expressed empathy with struggling families who are dealing with a COVID-19 surge that's casting a shadow over the Christmas holidays.
This has been one of the toughest years we've ever faced as a nation.
COVID-19 has killed more than 318,000 Americans and counting. It's become the third leading cause of death behind heart disease and cancer. Annual fatalities rise every year, but in 2020, the numbers jumped about 15% and could go higher. It's the largest percentage jump since World War I and the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918. Jennifer King, Washington.
President Trump pardons 15 people, including former Republican Congressman Duncan Hunter of California and Chris Collins of New York. Collins, the first member of Congress to endorse Trump, was sentenced to federal prison after admitting he helped his son and others dodge $800,000 in stock market losses when he learned that a drug trial by a small pharmaceutical company had failed. Hunter pleaded guilty to stealing campaign funds, spending the money on everything from outings with friends to his daughter's birthday party. Trump also pardoned George Papadopoulos, his 2016 campaign advisor, who unwittingly helped trigger the Russia investigation. This is AP News.
KCAA Radio has openings for one-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast on 3 terrestrial frequencies to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on Real Radio plus the Internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation, or call our CEO for details, 281-599-9800.
This message is from DNA Financial Group, a taxpayer advocacy group who can represent you before the IRS and help you resolve your IRS problems. On March 21st, 2020, the IRS extended the tax day deadline from April 15th to July 15th, 2020. This deferment of filing and paying applies to all taxpayers, including individuals, trusts, and estates, corporations, and other non-corporate tax filers, as well as those who pay self-employment tax. On March 25, 2020, the IRS launched its People First initiative to provide financial relief for certain taxpayers. This initiative provides a blanket hold of enforced collections, including liens and levies, until July 15, 2020, for nearly all taxpayers, businesses, and individuals alike. This initiative also stops all installment agreement and offering compromise payments until July 15, 2020. Individuals and businesses in direct debit installment agreements are encouraged to contact their banks for stop payments. If you have submitted an offering compromise, the IRS is providing an automatic extension of time for approvals until July 15, 2020. This message is from DNA Financial Group. DNA Financial Group helps businesses and individuals resolve IRS problems. DNA provides an alternative to the impersonal approach of other IRS resolution firms. DNA will address your IRS problems with personal attention and creative strategies that will resolve your IRS issues. Call DNA Financial Group at 866-201-0156. DNA has a simple motto: Your success is our success. Visit the DNA website at www.dnafingroup.com or call DNA at 866-201-0156.
Do you have a debt problem? Are you being sued for an unpaid debt? Is your paycheck being garnished or your bank account emptied out? Do you feel like you're running out of options? The Fullman Firm is your friendly local law firm next door and has helped thousands of people just like you. Give us a call at 833-FULLMAN and see if we can help you too. It's a free confidential consultation. You have nothing to lose. For debts above $7,000, give us a call at 833-FULLMAN or check out FullmanFirm.com. That's 833-FULLMAN. The Fullman Firm. Let our lawyers get you on the path to financial freedom. The proceeding is not intended as a guarantee or estimate of the outcome of your case. Every case is unique, and past results are not indicators of the success of your case. Take control of your financial future and call 833-FULLMAN or visit FullmanFirm.com now.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas, as AAMP TV stands for All Ages Media Programming. Google and check them out. Today's show is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to people they don't understand, plus a whole lot more. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or check them out online for more information at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. Who wants to go to court? And a big welcome into everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, hotel television in 650,000 rooms as well from coast to coast, and we're expanding on that too. And a big welcome into everybody watching on AMP TV, the sportscircus.com, Facebook, YouTube, wherever the hell we're at. We're everywhere, and we are joined at the very top of the show by none other than Super Bowl V champion, and that would be Bob Grant, former linebacker for the Baltimore Colts. A big, astounding round of applause for Bob. Yes. Welcome back, Bob.
Hello, Sal. Merry Christmas.
Like, you're an expert. You know to wait until after the applause, too. You've been doing this for just a little bit of time, right? All right, Bob. So, hey, let me ask you, right? I have a couple of questions here or there. Is there crying in sports? If you're at the men's level, the college level or above, if you're on the losing side of something, is crying allowed? Come on, man.
I don't think so. Now there are, it doesn't mean that you don't protest a loss, or if there's a particular play, and you disagree with the play. They even have a rule in there now that says, you can throw a little red handkerchief out there on the field, and they will look at the play again. But sports is about winning and losing. It's not just one thing. You have to be able to manage yourself and conduct yourself in a good and proper way, in wins and in losses. So I would say that, yes, there is crying sometimes, but you can't cry very long because you have another game coming up next week. You have to go ahead and get ready for that.
Right. Well, I would imagine, if it's a Super Bowl, some people, they fought the whole season to get there, and you lose the last game. I could see some people being upset. However, I believe that it is detrimental to the team. It's detrimental to the game itself. I think to the fans. Oh, look at little Billy's crying over there. Knock it off, Billy. No, we're not going to deal with that. No, we want no part of that. We don't want that kind of element on our bench or on our sidelines, on the field, whatever. No, pick your chin up, scrape your chin up off the ground, and let's go get them next time. That's it. And so I ask about this because John Calipari over in the NCAA basketball ranks, he had basically said to one of his players, we'll just leave him nameless, hey, look, you can't do that here. Why don't you go take a break for you, and we're going to dismiss you for a certain amount of time. Now, I love the move because it is a professional environment. If you're playing basketball in Kentucky, I mean, buddy, that's the NBA already. Agree or disagree?
I would agree with that.
Right. So you think about what Big Blue brings to the table with all the other top programs, and then let's take those guys to the NBA, or let's just say we go to the NFL, right? We go to your Baltimore Colts. Now, here's an interesting thing. So prior to the show, I was having a conversation about the migration of the Baltimore Colts over to Indianapolis and the Cleveland Browns migration over to Baltimore, right? So now you have the Baltimore Ravens. And then we have the creation a few years later of the Cleveland Browns. And so here's something I didn't know. Going through, and this was from somebody on the team, going through their, I don't know, walls or halls of fame or whatever the heck they have. You know, every team has their storybook land. These are great players and this and that. Johnny Unitas still appears in the Baltimore Colts, or better yet, the Baltimore Ravens, I guess, Hall of Fame or whatever, in their stadium. So they've kept Baltimore Colts players. Do you think that they should also include some of the Cleveland Brown greats like Jim Brown, for example? Because this is the same team.
Sal, would you ask me that question again? You froze entirely on me there.
Okay. All right. So
since we were talking about Cleveland and Baltimore and teams moving, etc.
Right. Do you believe that, for example, since Johnny Unitas is in, I guess, one of those hallways, like a Walk of Fame or whatever, something within the Baltimore Ravens facility. So they have pictures of Johnny Unitas up there and, you know, other great Colts players and whatnot. Right as the team left Baltimore, do you think it's reasonable for the Baltimore Ravens, since they really were the Cleveland Browns, to have guys like maybe Jim Brown on the same wall? It's like, hey, look, this is our team today, and the origin just happens to be the Cleveland Browns. Do you think it's reasonable for the Baltimore Ravens maybe to have Jim Brown on their walls and their little Walk of Fame or whatever it is that they've got there in their corridors to be honored and cherished and looked up to? Not the Hall of Fame. This is not a Hall of Fame question.
Well, guys, I'm back now. Desiree's putting me on another machine here. I was frozen the entire time that you were talking there. You know, if I may, let me give you just a little background. Teams historically have moved all over the place, from the Staleys when George Halas moved them to Chicago, and then the Cardinals used to be in Chicago Cardinals, and they moved to St. Louis, and they moved to Arizona. The Rams moved from Cleveland to Los Angeles to St. Louis, back to Los Angeles. The Raiders moved to Cuba, Beijing. Back there, they moved every place. The Baltimore Colts were the Texas Mustangs at one time, and then they were the Brooklyn something at some time before they became the Baltimore Colts. So teams have always moved. Desiree's bringing another machine here for me. Okay. A team. You have a team name, but you also have a city that team played in. The Cleveland Browns of today are not the Cleveland Browns of Paul Brown's day. The Cleveland Browns of Art Modell's time as owner are not the Cleveland Browns of today. The Baltimore Ravens are new. The Indianapolis Colts of today are not the Baltimore Colts, nor are they the Texas Mustangs. So it can get kind of confusing. So with us as players, I think that we identify with both cities and teams.
Okay, and so it goes back to my question. In the Baltimore Ravens facilities, for example, you'll see the pictures and the things of Johnny Unitas, right? So we think of, what the Baltimore Colts were back at those days. Do you think it's reasonable if they're going to have pictures of Unitas and whatever it is that they have of him, plaques, pictures, whatever, should they also have them of Jim Brown too? Because obviously the Cleveland Browns had migrated over there.
I wouldn't try that in Baltimore if I were them. And Jim's a good friend.
Right.
Jim's a good friend, but I would not put him up there. They're selling tickets. You have to remember that. And when they became Baltimore Ravens, as far as they're concerned, they are the Baltimore team. And, they're Gina Marchetti, John Unitas, that's Baltimore.
Right, but this was an internal thing, not for the fans. This is inside maybe the practice facilities or something like that, because they were great players tied to the city to one degree or tied to that team previously. So this is not a fans thing. This is an internal thing. Is it morally right or wrong for Johnny Unitas to be up there in the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know, internal building walkways with some celebration around him?
And a statue out front. Yes, it is. Because they're in Baltimore. In the same way that Jim Brown's statue is out front there in Cleveland. As I said, you can't just look at just the team name. You've got to look at the city too. Jim Brown played in, Jim's a good man. Jim played in Cleveland. That's home to Jim. The team can move to Paris if it wants to. Jim is, as far as he's concerned, is a Cleveland Brown. He would not want a statue in Paris there. But Unitas would want a statue in Baltimore for whatever team is there.
Gotcha. Hey, I tell you what, hold that thought. We're going to be back here with Super Bowl V champion. That would be Bob Grant. He's also the top dog for the Players Congress, the Retired Players Congress. Folks, check out on commercial break, playerscongress.com. It's a lot of really good information, some very good items there. Just check it out. Do a little browsing for a couple minutes. Come right back here to the Sports Circus. We'll be back in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. That's 800-470-7113.
AMP, the multi-format network, is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing, and you always need to be sticking your fingers. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger pricks. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day, or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call U.S. Medical Supply today for a free benefits check. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill Medicare or your insurance directly. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-854-3183. 800-854-3183. 800-854-3183. That's 800-854-3183.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. You can see I've got the Strip right behind me, the Venetian, the Harrah's, the Palazzo, all kind of, even the big Ferris wheel. And actually, it's a Ferris wheel that sits behind the link. And it's actually, I think they call it the High Roller. As a matter of fact, that High Roller, prior to that hotel, it went from the Imperial Palace to Bob, what was the name of that place after that? It was the Quad. All right, so we have Bob Grant, Super Bowl V champion, with us. Bob, it was called the Quad. And then they built this big Ferris wheel, and they changed the name again to the Link. But I know that Ferris wheel as like a big O. So I kind of call it the Quado. Right, because that's what it was. I mean, it was the Quad's O. I mean, I don't call it anything else. To me, it's still the Quado. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at here in Vegas. Here with, again, Super Bowl V champion. That would be Bob Grant, and he is top dog over at the Retired Players Congress. Hey, Bob, tell everybody about the Players Congress.
Well, the Retired Players Congress is a C Corp, a for-profit corporation that is incorporated in the state of Nevada. We work to help our retired players, widows, inner city schools, youth, and the communities that we live in, St. Jude and a number of other worthy charities like that. But I really do have to say that all of our other groups are nonprofit groups, from the alumni to the former players to the legends and everything. We are the single player group that is a for-profit group. We don't ask anybody for donations or anything. We actually produce jackets. We manufacture and import jackets for the NFL and all of the other sports leagues, here in the country. And we have our own brand line, and we're coming out in January with we're getting involved in exercise equipment that can be used by the elderly, people recuperating from injuries, and people in general at home. So I might also add, that we are just taking a piece of the top organic herb farm, not CBM, not hemp, not marijuana, but the healing herbs from Africa, Asia, the South Pacific, the American Indian cultures in Hawaii, Kauai Pharmacy. We will be a partner there by years end, I do, you'll believe. So we're doing an awful lot, and I know that I try to push a lot like in there, but folks, just keep in mind that this one thing, that when you make a purchase of any of our jackets or any of our other gear at playerscongress.com, you are helping not just retired players, but the communities that we live in.
That's good stuff. And I'll tell you what I like about this. This goes to our business audience, all those people listening on CNBC in Southern California, NBC News, and also Money Matters Radio over in Boston. Yeah, folks, there's a big difference between your nonprofit and your for-profit company. And what I like, the reason I like the way you structured this, Bob, was because when you are a for-profit company, you could spend your money, you could do whatever you want with your money without the government's interaction. As soon as you become a nonprofit or a 501c3, well, guess what? Now the government can tell you what you can and can't spend money on. The taxpayers can complain that you're using taxpayers' dollar for other things instead of this alleged cause, whatever it is. So the fact that you are a for-profit company, I 100% respect that, because now you could do what you want with your revenues. And again, we're going to give you a big, astounding round of applause for that, because you're not handicapping yourself and you're not utilizing taxpayers' dollars. It's a huge, huge thing. I like that. So let me ask you this. All right, let's go back to the last segment when we were talking about teams migrating from city to city to city. You know, a lot of people don't really realize that professional teams make so many moves. I mean, we think of the Lakers. Oh, they're the Lakers. Well, guess what? They started out in Minneapolis, hence the word Lakers, because there's 10,000 lakes in Minnesota. It even says it on the license plate. But, Bob, I think you were opening the eyes of some of the listeners, because they're like, what? I didn't know the Rams were somewhere else before they were L.A. and all this other. And we've seen the same thing in baseball, et cetera. Hell, my cousin played for the Boston Braves before they went over to Milwaukee and went down to Atlanta, right? And on we go. So it's in all sports, hockey as well, right? We've seen the Colorado Avalanche in today's time. They were the Quebec Nordiques, right? The Hartford Whalers are the Carolina Hurricanes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Atlanta Flames, which you may recall, are the Calgary Flames, and so forth. So, Bob, in football, talk a little bit about the benefits of moving a team to the ownership versus the lack of benefit to the fan base.
Well, one of the things that happens whenever you have a sports team in a city, especially if they're a winning team, is the people in that city fall in love with the team. But the hard and cold facts financially are the team is owned by one man or a group or a particular group. The city does not own the team legally, but they do own the team spiritually and in some ways. So we have situations whereas a team is just not making it in the city, the numbers are not working out for ownership sometimes, and they choose to move because of that. The people in the city have fallen in love with the team, so there's always anger there, and they want to keep the team there. But it doesn't make sense business-wise. So I'll give an example. When the Baltimore Colts and the Irsay family moved the Colts, I had moved on from the Colts then, but I hated to see the Colts move to Indianapolis, because to me, the Colts were the Baltimore Colts. They weren't the Texas Mustangs as they were years before I got there, or the team out of Brooklyn. I was a Baltimore Colt. But one of the things that I recognize as a business person is Mr. Irsay put his money up to buy the team. He took all of the risk. And we're not a communist country. We're a capitalist country. It's his property. If he chooses to move his property someplace else, then he had the right to do that, even though it broke my heart and the heart of many other people in Baltimore. The next thing that happened in that scenario, in that bit of theater, was the Cleveland Browns were just not getting what they wanted out of Cleveland. So they moved the team to Baltimore and named them the Ravens. Now everyone in Baltimore loves the Ravens. The Ravens are a team, but they left the name Browns there available for the city of Cleveland, and I thought that was very nice. So Cleveland still has the Browns, and in a strange and crazy sort of way, there's still a connection there. But it's kind of a complicated thing, and as I said, it hurts whenever your team, like if you're the Chicago Cardinals and you move on to football, and they move down to St. Louis, and then you move over to Arizona, become the Arizona Cardinals. People are pained by that all the time, but owners do have the rights to do that because they put their money up.
Kansas They do, and I, Bob, I agree with that. And there's always a loser when a team moves. I mean, think of all the times. Let's go back to the Chicago Cardinals, because prior to that, they were the Chicago Stags, right? They played at White Sox's Comiskey Park, right? So you go from the Stags to the Cardinals. Huh?
We're dating ourselves. So we're not supposed to know this. I don't remember any of this stuff.
My hometown. I gotta know this. And I'm a White Sox guy. I'm not a Cubs guy. So of course I know what happened in that stadium. So we go from the Stags to the Cardinals, and people say, well, why were they the Cardinals? Because that's the Illinois state bird. It's the cardinal, right? And so then they go to St. Louis, and then they go to Arizona, which ironically, the state bird for Arizona is what? The cardinal, right? Because apparently there's a lot of cardinals there. I did not know that. That was kind of a cool bit of history. But as these teams migrate, the fans, I mean, in recent times, let's take a look at the Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders, the Irwin. We almost had the Irwindale Raiders, right?
The Hong Kong Raiders.
Right, now we got the Vegas Raiders. Look, the Raiders could play in a garbage dump and people will still follow them. It doesn't matter. For whatever reason, people love that silver and black. I mean, I'm not a big Raider guy, but I have to tell you, the following is infectious. It's like the stupid Green Bay Packers. They have fans all over the world. Why? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But the fact is, people will follow them at all ends. They don't give a damn. And so as I see these teams move, I see the heartbreak side of it. It is crushing to imagine. Now, only if Chicago could get the Cubs out of town, I think that would be the best case scenario. I'm sorry. Ship them off to Indiana or something. I don't know. But we're going to come back with you, Bob, in just a few moments. Folks, Bob Grant, Super Bowl V champion with the Baltimore Colts. Yes, and that was over the Dallas Cowboys. 16-13 in a thriller. Back here in just a few minutes on the Circus. In fact, while we're gone, folks, check out playerscongress.com. Playerscongress.com. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. That's 800-470-7113.
Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP TV, stands for All Ages Media Programming. Google and check it out. All right, folks. This segment is brought to you by the sportscircus.com. Check out our upcoming guest, our prior guest, our podcast, and also some of our partners. One of them happens to be the Retired Players Congress, and we just happen to have the CEO and top guy over there with us, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl V champion, and that would be Bob Grant. Bob, tell everybody quickly about the Retired Players Congress.
Sal, the Retired Players Congress is a for-profit corporation incorporated in the state of Nevada that is owned and operated by the retired players themselves. We work with the NFL. We work with active players. And our mission is to generate profits through our for-profit corporation. And we use those profits to help retired players, the older guys from yesteryear, widows, also inner city youth in our schools across the nation locally, and St. Jude's Hospital, and a number of other worthy causes. So we are in the business of making money so that we can make a difference.
All right. I like that. That's a real simple way to say it. We're in the business of making money so we can make a difference. I mean, that's probably the simplest way to say it. A lot of companies are kind of scared to say that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's why that's why we're here, and I think that there's nothing wrong with making money. We are a capital. Thank goodness we are a capitalist, country, because I will tell you, this: we have some people who their biggest goal in life is to have somebody take care of them. And then we have some other people like myself, that my biggest goal in life is not to have someone else take care of me. I just want an opportunity to take care of myself. And in doing that, I'll try to have a good life for myself and my family, the people that I care about, the communities that I live in, and use whatever funds I'm able to generate for those causes there. But I'm a capitalist. I make no apologies for it. And while there are some excuses, and they are excuses, because we have some people who cannot care for themselves for having government or teams or whatever take care of them. I just believe in doing for self. I come from that time in this country.
Yeah. Okay, so, by the way, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates. Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas. Big hello to our friends down on CBS Sports Corpus Christi. That'd be KSIX 95.1, 96.1, and 12:30 a.m. Guess what? You got yourself a new show that's going to be starting on Friday evenings, and that's going to start on January 15th. We're going to be carrying a little show by the gentleman that's with us today, and that would be Bob Grant. Bob, what's the name of your show?
Well, it will be Talking Stories with Uncle Bob, I guess, or something like that.
I like that. Yes. Yeah, I mean, everybody calls you Uncle Bob anyway.
Yeah, hey, even the guys that are in their 90s. I'm in my 70s, and the guys in their 90s call me Uncle Bob. I'll give you like a one quick story. Some years ago, a couple of black guys asked me, what's with this uncle thing that everybody's calling you? That's kind of embarrassing. That's kind of like Uncle Tom and everything. So I just laughed and told him, no, it's nothing like that at all. I says, I really like it because it the many different cultures, be it Hawaiian culture, which is part mine, and in black culture, like also, it's just a term of endearment, and I guess like a respect for someone who is trying to be helpful to everyone. So I have lots of nieces and nephews across the country, and I'm looking forward to adopting a few people down in Texas there too.
Yeah. That sounds great. Look, I mean, the people down there, they're going to love this. And let's face it, at some point, this show will be aired from coast to coast. And, we have to acknowledge, some of our other stations, some of our other people, our listeners, whatever. We've got a real nice following down in Auburn, Alabama on WAUD, home of the Atlanta Braves, and also over in Faraday, Louisiana, and Natchez, Mississippi, 107.1 The River, Mid-South Broadcasting. We got to get you reaching your hand into a tree with the Grab You One boys from Redneck Adventures. We're going to have to get you to try that out. They put their hand in a tree, pull snakes out. They do all kind of crazy stuff down there. So a big welcome in to them, as well as our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA, and of course our friends over in Alabama, or I should say down in Atlanta, Georgia, WDJY. Yes, we're down there every day as well. We've got a really nice following for the show. Of course, everybody on social and the hotels and so forth. But Bob, I think it's going to be a real treat for those listeners down in South Texas to get something a little bit different, because this is something I think that a lot of stations, a lot of TV stations, and by the way, we have a big TV audience too, outside of the hotels. Bob, we're carried in Tampa, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Cincinnati, Detroit, even over in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I mean, shoot, we're everywhere at this point. But I'll tell you, the variety is one thing, because a lot of the stations, the affiliates, whatnot, they have their regular programming where they'll have sports writers and telling the talking heads on TV, this is what you say, this is what you don't say. But with what we do, we don't have that, because let's face it, whatever we want to cover is exactly what we want to cover. And I think the listeners dig that, Bob, because let's face it, when you're telling your stories, you want to tell your story. You don't want some knucklehead sports writer to tell you how to spin your story.
Well, I'm not the person to listen to if you're looking for someone who's going to try to be politically correct or who's not going to tell the truth.
Right.
I'm not vulgar, and I don't believe in vulgarity, but I always believe in telling the truth. And there's nothing wrong with your truth. Unfortunately, in our country today, truth is something that is not real popular. It's not really popular in many different areas, today. If you don't agree with what another person wants on any level, in some instances, they don't want to hear what you have to say. But I don't require any of my friends to hold the same beliefs that I do on anything, or to like the same flavor ice cream that I do. We can be civil and we can pursue solutions together, because that's what sports is all about: recreation and solutions.
Yeah, I would agree. And you know what the really bad part about what's going on in the sporting world today, which drives me crazy, is you'll see double standards left, right, and center for the alleged protocol, health protocol, whatever. And you'll see some teams will observe something, some leagues will not observe it. What about the kids? We go to college, we go to high school, right? What about the kids playing Pop Warner football? These kids are in no worse of a risk situation than anybody else at this point. In fact, their immune systems are a little bit stronger. And in the next segment, we have our high school prep report by a 13-year-old kid out of Chicago. His name is Eli Thompson. And, he's a good quarterback. The problem is, it's kind of like the kids' world is being held up because of politics and crap like that. And it drives me insane. And I know sometimes I drive the listeners batty because I will talk about this and everybody has their opinion on things, and I get it. So without force-feeding my opinion, I just say, Bob, how about some fairness? How about some equality with this? How about getting the kids out playing? And how about getting people to check out playerscongress.com? In the last minute or so, give everybody, again, a nice summary of what they can expect at playerscongress.com.
Well, at playerscongress.com, we're not political. We don't take religious stances or anything else. But I will tell you this, and I want to apologize this to anyone. In anything that we are addressing, we will try to always use as a foundation sound business principles, and most of all, the Constitution of the United States. With anything that we say that goes against the Constitution, I'm going to be the first one to say that we are wrong there, because that Constitution has given rise, and I'm not speaking politically here now, as a black man who comes from who has a legacy of having come out of slavery through my ancestors and stuff like this. This is the greatest country on earth. I had opportunities, even though it was not a completely level playing field. I had an opportunity to better myself. The young men today, we have more black young millionaires in this country today because of sports than we do any place else on earth. Not a perfect country, but it is a good country that is built on a foundation that is called the Constitution of the United States of America.
It is. And a round of applause for our country, because we deserve it. All right, Bob, any final words? By the way, folks, you've been here with Bob Grant, Super Bowl V champion from those Baltimore Colts. Hey, Bob, show your ring. Put your ring in front of the camera so everybody on TV can see that. Look at that. There it is. There's that Colts Super Bowl ring from, 1971. Bob, thanks for joining us today. Always a pleasure. Folks, check out playerscongress.com. Bob's the top guy over there, and guess what? It's getting bigger and better, and listen for that show coming real soon to a station near you. Back here in a few minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
AMP, the multi-format network, is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
This is an urgent health notice. All residents suffering from back pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now. The Health Alert Hotline is your back brace company. These specialized braces have been thoroughly tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility. Don't wait. The deadline is fast approaching. The call just takes a few minutes, and we will handle all of the Medicare paperwork. Back braces have helped thousands of people just like you get relief from their back pain and return to living their lives to the fullest, enjoying activities they thought they might never be able to experience again. Find out if you're eligible to receive a pain-relieving back brace. Make sure to have your Medicare card ready when you call. Call us right now.
800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. 800-223-7902. That's 800-223-7902.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP TV, all ages media programming. Google it. Check it out, folks. All right, this segment brought to you by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk shows in their very own homes. Maybe you're tired of commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Maybe you lost your job, and maybe you're sitting at home trying to reinvent yourself. How about having your very own talk show in your very own home studio? Contact Cali Vegas for more information at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or check them out online for more information, as I said, at CaliVegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. Yes! And welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, Hotel TV, Facebook, YouTube, wherever the hell we're at. We're everywhere. We're on TV in a whole bunch of other markets. We're on the radio from Hawaii to Boston to Atlanta to Greater Houston and Corpus Christi to Vegas and Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Hell, we're everywhere. All right. And we are here with Eli, the Dream Crusher Thompson, with our high school prep report, or maybe some high school prep report thoughts. What's going on in the high school sports world and maybe even recruiting? What's going on, Eli?
So today I come from you right outside of a go-kart track where I completely run through all the people in Savannah, Georgia, where I completely
everybody
destroy all the other competitors, kind of like I did you in basketball. In the state of Georgia, home of great cornerback, Colts corner, and Pro Bowl snub, Kenny Moore, and right next to the state that Phillip Rivers built, one of the best QBs in the NFL, Alabama. So here we are in the state of Georgia.
Phillip Rivers went to North Carolina State, in case you're keeping score.
He was from Alabama. He was from Decatur. He was born in Decatur.
I know, but I don't think the state of Alabama wants to recognize that. I think you're just better off saying he's from NC State, if you know what I mean.
Future Hall of Famer and Super Bowl and 2020 Super Bowl winner.
What are you talking about? Phillip Rivers couldn't win a postseason game if his life depended on it. Guy's terrible.
Colts are looking good.
I know. They're always going to do this, and they're always going to do that. But without Peyton Manning, they couldn't do anything. And that's the end of that. Anyway, as you were.
So today we're going to be talking about in the state of Georgia, since we're in the state of Georgia right now, we're going to be talking about Georgia's great recruiting class, the state of Georgia, not Georgia University, but Georgia. Georgia has had a lot of blue chip prospects this year, more than California. And so,
which is rather surprising
because
go ahead.
They also have the most blue chip prospects by capita per population. So you could say Georgia is the hotbed of football recruiting, of college football recruiting. They have gotten a lot of players because, and one of the key factors to that is speed. What would you say that, Sal? You growing up in Chicago, and it's tough to run. It's tough to get better at your speed during the winter.
Well, yeah, if you don't have year-round good weather, the availability that everybody else does have around the country, I would agree. It's very difficult in the upper Midwest, or anywhere in the Midwest anyway, or even on the East Coast. If you're dealing with inclement weather, it's hard to get out there every day. If you're in the Southeast or in the Southwest or just anywhere in the Deep South, guess what? You've got those winter days. Like, I'm even here in Las Vegas. I mean, today is 65 degrees. And let's face it, in Chicago or New York or Minneapolis or whatever, it's cold, and you're not going to get out there and doing the same drills and the same everything. I had this situation with baseball. It's very hard for me as a high school player to get out and play in the wintertime because you can't. You have to try to bring your game indoors. But from a football standpoint, I mean, Georgia really has climbed the ranks, and they are certainly in the top 2 or 3 in the nation when it comes to overall recruiting. I absolutely agree with that. I don't think they're the best, but they're right there.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 states that are dominating football recruiting, sitting at 1 and 3, is Florida and Georgia. Because of speed, that's it too. But also, what we're looking at is the city of Atlanta is producing some of the most recruits. They have done really well in recruiting and getting a lot of those players out. And they're getting better at producing quarterbacks. Because they've shifted a lot of the game because the SEC has shifted a lot of the game. The SEC, it's gone from 42 dive, 3 yards in a cloud of dust to 52 to 46 in the SEC championship.
Which,
and
by the way,
that with quarterback Brock Vandergriff, who's going to go to the University of Georgia.
In that SEC championship game, I do have to bring this up. Had Florida managed the clock better at the end of the first half, they very well could have won that game 53-52.
Yeah, but it still would have been a question mark. Would they have made the playoffs?
With the win there, yes.
Could have costed them a playoff spot. They threw a shoe right at their playoff spot.
Eli, with a win, they would have solidified the fact that they could beat the number 1 team in the country, and then Notre Dame would have fell out because they were destroyed by Clemson's first unit because they played Clemson's second unit the first time around they played, which that game shouldn't have even counted anyway.
A&M should have gotten that 4th playoff spot.
I agree.
And we're looking at, in the state of Georgia, we're going back to the state of Georgia with recruiting, is that recruiting has done well. It's speed, it's players, it's talent, it's receivers. It's all across the board. If you want it in the state of Georgia, you can come get it. And so that is why we're looking at. And another one of the hotbeds of recruiting is the state of Louisiana, too. Because when we looked at LSU, and when I looked at one day LSU's recruiting class, because they haven't done well this season. So I figured that they maybe have it in 20s. They're still LSU, but they won't have a great recruiting class.
But geez, they lost a lot of players to the NFL, too.
They're number 3 in recruiting this year. Number 3. Right. And that's because the state of Louisiana produced the 5th most players. And so that really helps them. And so if the state, and if Georgia University, Georgia Bulldogs, can hold down the state of Georgia,
yep.
And if the University of Georgia can hold down the state, made sure all of the blue chip prospects don't go anywhere else, they will be contenders every single year, because they don't need to go to other states. They don't need to go to other states and recruit. They need to recruit the state of Georgia.
And Eli, there are already built-in incentives for if you live in the state of Georgia, you go to school at the University of Georgia, for example. There are benefits.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.